Okay, class, today we are having our second literature circle meeting. And today's story is called The Fun They Had. Last week we did All Summer in a Day by Ray Bradbury. And remember, we're keeping our focus on these 5 literature circles on the genre of science fiction and introducing some famous writers. As you see here, Isaac Asimov was born in Russia January 2nd, 1920, and he passed away April 6, 1992 in New York, New York. He was a Russian-American writer and scientist. He wrote over 500 different books in his lifetime, okay? A prolific writer. And he included at least one book in all of the 10 different Dewey Decimal categories. Remember when we went to the library and Ms. Danielson explained how the Dewey Decimal System works? So he didn't just write in one genre, he wrote in several. Okay? But he's best known for his science fiction, including the story I, Robot, which I know all of you know because of the movie with Will Smith, but you should really check out the book, and it is in our classroom library. 2 famous quotes from Isaac Asimov were, "Violence is the last refuge of the incompetent," and "Life is pleasant, death is peaceful, it's the transition that's troublesome." I'd like to hear someone's response to one of those quotes. Why did it resonate with you? What connection did you make to it? Okay, Mark?
I think that when it says life is pleasant, death is peaceful, it's the transitions that's troublesome. I think that when people are alive, they want to die because they want to get out of this life. And when they're dead, maybe they want to still live. So it's like hard for them to decide which one they want.
Okay. Any other comments about that quote? Alfred?
I think the quote is saying that life is happy and death is peace. Is like you have peace. And the hard part about that is the stage where you're about to die.
Okay. Thank you, Alfred. One more. We'll take one more, then we're going to go into our meetings. Adriana?
To me, this quote means to live your life and expect death, and not to fear such a thing. Definitely not fear it.
It's just another transition, right? All right. He gave us a lot of good quotes and things to remember him by and to think and reflect about life in general. And as you see, he's a very interesting looking person. I really would have liked to have a conversation with him. Yeah, those sideburns are pretty awesome. Okay. Enough about fashion. Let's talk about his writing. So literature circle dialogue. We're just going to review them so we all start on the same page. First, know your role. We've all rehearsed and we're ready to participate. Only one person speaks at a time. Stay on task, speak on only the topic. Practice active listening, and that includes asking clarifying questions. Remember, we're dialoguing about the book, not a monologue. We're all talking together. Respect opinions that are different from your own. Reading the roll sheet is not appropriate. You want to invite participation and interaction and conduct yourself with dignity. Does anyone have any questions before we start our literature circle meeting? It's our second meeting. You want to speak audibly so your classmates can hear you, and you want to be engaged and active. Okay? I'm going to turn the floor over to...
Right now, we're going to
Conflict may be natural or constructed. Margot locked inside the closet and missing the sun is an example of constructed conflict. This conflict is constructed because William locked her in the closet on purpose. Conflicts are influenced by other conflicts. When the boy locked her in the closet, nobody else stopped him, they just followed the lead. Conflict can be positive, negative, or neutral. Margot's friends locking her up in the closet is an example of negative conflict. This conflict is negative because Margot had been waiting to see the sun, and when the sun actually came out for an hour, she couldn't see it. Conflict can be positive, negative, or neutral. Putting
Margot inside the room was an example of a negative conflict. This conflict is negative because it made Margot cry and decided something.
Conflict may allow for synthesis and change. Margot believing the sun will come out created change because when the sun really came out, the children felt guilt for Margot. Okay. Who's the
Out on paragraph 4.
Hey man, how could a man be a teacher? Well, he just told the boys that good things and gave them homework and that's the question. I picked this paragraph because the story says that in the future they didn't have human teachers, and I found that surprising. Okay, and then
Okay, so why did you find that surprising, that there would be no human teachers in the future? I mean, you often see here in class that I use the overhead projector and PowerPoint. Do you really need a teacher? What do you guys think of that?
I think we do, like, if it's a computer, people don't even get to ask questions.
Yeah, but couldn't we just run the PowerPoint and not have a teacher there?
I think that the teacher explains more to the students if they don't understand it.
Okay, so they're needed or not needed? What do you guys think?
Needed.
Needed? Not just because I'm standing here? Yeah? Okay, continue your discussion.
Okay, I will read on page 576, paragraph. G said, Tommy, what a waste. When you're through with the book, you just throw it away. Our television screen must have a million books on it, and it's good for plenty more. I wouldn't throw it away. I chose this paragraph because it is something that we might have in the future.
Some connections I have to like personal life is school. They use like at some school they use that little leapfrog mini pad where like you just touch the word and you get it how to read. That's pretty technical. Another connection is computers. Computers are like the mechanical teachers in the book. And another connection is like when you read books, you can learn about the past. Like when you're reading a social studies book, you learn about Mesopotamia and Egypt and the Israelites. A personal connection is when I interviewed my grandma. She told me that before, when she was like really young, she didn't have no TV. And I just thought that was weird because I can't live without TV.
Is like our overhead that we have, and Margie hates school, while some kids might hate school too. So some kids might have same attitudes as in from in the future.
Now it's Can you explain that picture?
Rebecca, what do you think this means?
That the kids, they're happy because the sun came out, but Margot, when Margot came out, it was already raining.
Next person?
I think it means that like when the kids are playing outside, that's when William the laughter feels sad because he likes her outside and he realized that she was actually right. The phone was gonna come out.
I think it shows that the children were happy to see the sun for the first time in 7 years, but it also shows the girl that remembers that they had left Marco locked up.
How did you feel when you
I was right. And she's feeling bad. This shows that everybody's happy because the sun came out, but she's feeling bad because she doesn't know where Margot is, and it's already starting to rain, and the sun's going down.
Would you like having the school just across your room? And why?
I wouldn't like having school across my room because maybe my brothers would just come in and bug me all the time when I'm trying to work on my lessons.
I wouldn't like it because they wouldn't get
I would like it sort of because it's like at your house, you just wake up and just walk to your school, and not even far. And the mechanical teachers are like on your level with us.
What about you, Elizabeth? What do you think?
Well, maybe I kind of do because, like you said, you can wake up and then just right away go, and you can go in your PJs and be all comfortable.
All right. What about online schools? What do you guys think of that? They're having more and more high schools are going online. The kids don't even have to go into school. Would you like that kind of experience?
No,
You have to elaborate. Tell me why.
I wouldn't because like you couldn't like talk to your friends, like you couldn't socialize. You just have to talk to the teacher.
Couldn't you instant message your friends? Send them an email?
But it's not the same as being like being here in person and then you goof off with your friends. And it's not like over the computer say, oh, this and that and this and that. It's like,
You can't shake hands with them.
Not the same, huh? As human interaction. All right, continue. I don't want to keep interrupting you, but you guys are coming up with some really excellent discussion.
What would you prefer? What would you prefer, a regular teacher or a mechanical teacher, and why?
I would prefer a regular teacher because they could teach me more and interact more. Like they could explain something.
I prefer a regular teacher because then our teacher would describe like we have to do all the assignments.
I would like a mechanical teacher because regular teachers, if you don't understand something, they just move on. And mechanical teachers, they stay at your level.
I would like a regular teacher because I don't know, because it depends on because sometimes it's
Well, probably to the second to the last paragraph. No, the last paragraph. They built like a time machine to go back in time.
I'm sorry, Jessica, I can't hear you.
and then they realize that maybe the past life would have been difficult.
I think if I were to like change the ending, I think like since Martha was so anxious about learning how the orders was in school, she could have probably like go to school and experience the way it felt.
Anything to relate to the story?
Can you clarify that question, please? Relate to what? Another book or their life or what?
Does anyone have any to relate to the story? Anything to relate to the story?
What kind of connections are you looking for? Are you looking for personal connections, text-to-text connections? What kind do you want them to discuss? Personal connections, okay? Anyone have personal connections to the text? Things that reminded them of their life?
Well, Margie hating school is like connected to me because when I was in third grade, I would hate math because I didn't really know how to do my problems with math, and so Margie hating school is connected to me by me hating math when I was in third grade.
Anyone else?
What part of this story was your favorite part?
My part, the favorite part that I liked was like when Margie and Tommy found the book, the real, supposedly real book, and it was talking about school. And my other favorite part was when Margie was while she was in her school, she was thinking about the old schools and how much fun the children would have in those schools.
My favorite part about this book is how they reacted when they found the book. How they used to write, and every time they used to turn back to the page, it was exactly the same like they had it. And I like that now that they're playing around and playing sports and stuff.
When I first looked at the picture, I thought it was gonna be like men being controlled by computers. That's what the picture looks like. It just has a bunch of numbers.
At first, I thought that it was like how kids in the future have fun, like with advanced technology. When I first Does today's reading remind you of any real life experience?
It did when I interviewed my grandma Terry. She's like 80 something, 86. And she told me that when she was young that they didn't have no TVs.
This reminds me of All Summer in a Day because it's based in the future and everything is more, they have more technology.
Does this remind you of any plays or movies? Of any sort? Okay, this reminds me of Pluto Net. I don't know why, because it's in the future. And that's a cool movie because of all the futuristic objects that they have. Okay, next person. I'm done.
Do you think if you had a real teacher, you would learn more if you had an account teacher?
I think you would because they would probably help you more because they'll get to know you more. They'll teach you exactly what you like. If you don't understand one certain word, they'll explain it to you perfectly that you understand it, and you won't have difficulty in understanding the person.
Yeah, like the words that you don't understand, they could like break the word down into like helping you. What does it mean? How could you use it? And
I think that having a person as a teacher that's better because you would have interactions with each other.
My teacher would have broken down and she would be happy that she has no school.
I would.
How did you feel about the television?
I thought they were cool. Like you turn the page and then you turn it back and the words have changed.
I thought that they were like cool too because if you have a book with pages, like my little sister would just come and rip it off, and then that would be another book that she would really better read, and telebooks have a whole bunch of books.
Oh no! Like if you finish the book, what do you do with the real books? You finish with the book and then like you just throw them away. You don't really read them no more. And the Tyler book, you just read them forever. Like there's a whole bunch of different books.
You have to waste some space.
What would happen if
like how things work in the old days.
If I were in the future, I'll try to build a time machine to see how it works.
If I would find a book like Margie did, I would try to explore more about it and find out more because I might want to learn more about the past. What might have happened if Margie found out more about the past? Anything other than
Margie would have probably wished that she would live in the past and not in the future because maybe she would experience different things.
the teacher might find out that they did a typo with it. Maybe they might find out the real answer. Margie would have been wondering more often about how the past was. She might have done something about it.
Margie would have found out more about how old she was.
What would happen if at the end Margie flipped the book by accident?
Well, maybe she wouldn't get a chance to know what the past was
Why is Margie so angry that she doesn't live in the past?
I don't think she was angry. I think she was just upset because she couldn't have a chance
How would you feel if you were Margie?
I would feel like curious about what happened before me. Like I would go around asking my grandma, all my elders what happened when they were young. Okay, what do you think? What do you think Margie was thinking when she started reading the book? That's all I found.
I think that Margie was interested in the book because she wanted to know what happened in the past.
I think that Margie would even more want to go to
What if Margie was really happy with the way things were in her classroom?
I would think she still would have been like school.
At this time, please begin filling out your reflection forms.